Are most of our predictions wrong? Growing up, I always thought AI was years away. I even remember watching TV on my old bulky PC in 2010, and honestly, I always thought all the AI and advanced spaceship engine were like 30-40 years off. But nope. ChatGPT pops up. It's cool at first, then boom, an entire industry is born overnight reliant on AI. Spaceships were another thing. We always thought it would be years till we figured out how to get to Mars. All of a sudden we have engines being designed that in theory can cut the amount of time it will take to get to Mars in half. I'm starting to think that all the events we grew up watching in movies in the early 2000s are gonna be here in the next 5 years. I mean, I'm using AI for my online stores. I bet you by between now and 2025 we are gonna combine AI and rocket science and build a new engine capable of getting to Mars in a week. Lol. I am very proud of a prediction I made in 1996 while being 10 years old. I bet in the future there will be tons of TV channels where people just play video games and you can watch. It's interesting to see how technology has advanced faster than many people expected. It's true that AI and space technology have made significant strides in recent years. And it's exciting to think about the possibilities for the future. It's also important to remember that while advancements in technology can be rapid, it still takes time for these developments to be fully realized and integrated into society. It's important to keep an open mind and stay informed about the latest advancements in these fields, as they may bring about positive changes in the near future. I think we really need to stop predicting what we just don't know. We don't even know what's going to happen this year in science and medicine. Well, the vacuum cleaner was invented when Australia became a country. About 120 years ago. Or about 2 grandpas ago. What will your children's children be inventing? In 1980, I predicted that the future would not be how I expected it to be. I was right. ChatGPT is only AI in the marketing sense. The AI from science fiction is called artificial general intelligence. That is still many years away. There is some good analysis of these questions in the book Super Forecasting: The Art and Science of Prediction by Philip Tetlock and Dan Gardner. In like 2001, I remember telling my BF that those phone cameras will never take off. Just a silly niche thing, who would want that instead of a real camera? Obvi, my track record on tech predictions is visionary. Yeah, I remember that kid mentality of mine that by 2000 we would have flying cars everywhere. Yes, our predictions are wrong, and we still need to figure out how to block radiation from the sun before we can send a person to Mars. You should look up Find the Precision Consumer 2030 PDF the WEF published tried to wipe from the internet. It's been saved on other sites by now, but it clearly paints a picture that those futuristic ideas from the early 2000s will be here soon enough. Should consider using AI to spell-check your post to make it more legible. Most predictions are wrong. It's just that we have a bias to remember the ones that are correct. Humans are actually no better at making prediction than a random generator. The predictions aren't wrong, but timing is a bitch to get right. You need to learn more about machine learning. It's not magic, and the current path isn't suitable for general AI. I predicted all this up to a decade ago. Down to the year. Back then people said I was crazy. Now when I point out that I was right, they go, "Oh, okay, Nostradamus. Then tell us what happens next." I tell them. And once again they say I'm crazy. And they don't see what's wrong with that. Yes, predicting the future is insanely hard. For example, most of the companies on Wall Street hire the smartest people on the planet to try and figure out What will happen to stocks only 6 months into the future and are more wrong than right? The smartest, most educated people on a given subject are more wrong than they are right in predicting the future in their specialized area. The default assumption is that you are wrong. AI, as we know it, has been around since the early 1950s. Some advances have been made recently thanks to newly available computing power. But they're just implementing theories from decades ago. This post reads like the OP doesn't know the world existed before the year 2000 and how long people have been pursuing AI and rocket ships. People are absolutely terrible at predicting the future. Think of all the major events we just didn't anticipate. The rise of China, our lifetimes, took everyone by surprise. The fall of the Berlin Wall, COVID, etc. We are truly awful at this. Look at Back to the Future 2. Everyone has a flying car and several fax machines. Virtually no one predicted the internet or smartphones. Virtually everyone predicted flying cars and people living on the moon. You forgot age reversal, which is coming and will make AI look tame in terms of societal disruption. Damn. Here I'm thinking 2010 was when you grew up? I was thinking more like 90s. In my day, we were supposed to have flying cars by now. I think people who think we will adapt are naive. Look at what happened during. Where did all money go? Not to you. Singularity should speed things up tremendously, and experts are saying 5 to 7 years for that's it. Will certainly be interesting to see what happens. What was mind-blowing was the Mac Mini M2 Pro surpassing the Mac Pro 2019 in power consumption. It's insane, bro. That's what I thought about the internet and cell phones in the early 80s. It's always been stopping when we get there, that's the problem. Most of our predictions are always wrong, frankly. The people making the predictions can't possibly know all there is involved in whatever they are predicting. Somebody told me something once that stuck with me. We don't know what we don't know. I would argue our predictions are correct, but just not correct enough. For example, in the mid-2000s, everyone was predicting that with the Internet of Things, our refrigerator would be able to tell when our milk was low and order more. The Internet of Things is defiantly a thing, but refrigerators aren't really a thing. It's more thermostats and lighting. Did that make the prediction wrong? In a way, yes, but also no. There's kind of a dam effect with technology. It bubbles below the surface, building pressure until it finally exploded. We're now witnessing the explosion of what's been building for decades. I'd say it boils down to our technology is significantly more advanced than the layperson believes. Along with no one notices the incremental advances until it's combined into a greater whole. AI expert systems really in aerospace have lineages going back decades. I strongly believe that technology and the pursuit of technology is inherent to our species. Never underestimate the ingenuity of necessity. It's fairly difficult to predict anything of note. Sure, you can do some minor predictions for the 10-15 year scale. After that, it's way more difficult to imagine what the potential changes people will enact with policy or technology. It's fairly apparent we are going to move away from fossil fuels. But that will take time. Fairly frequently enough that we have many notable inventors and scientists throughout history. A really smart person makes something that leaps our understanding of the world forward, completely changing our worldview and alters the trajectory of our technology. We'd probably be spot on in predictions were it not for the massive lengths the upper echelons of power go to rein in their control over the masses. Yep, predictions are way off. At this point, the decline and regression of human society is more likely than fully autonomous cars.